Hello everyone, today we are going over the fortune-telling magic girl, Mel Anna. So let's begin. Mel Anna is a 14-year-old support-type magical girl. Her eyes and hair are both green, and she is 151 centimeters in height. Mel's soul gem is a green leaf located on her chest as an accessory in her magical girl form. Her weapon is a deck of tarot cards. Her doppelganger witch is called Etteilla. Mel's wish to become a magical girl was to have her predictions always be 100% true. I want to be a great fortune teller. Her known relatives are her unnamed mother and father, who are seen absent in her life. She originally came from Daito Ward and attends Daito Academy in the 8th grade. Her magical girl element is the forest element, and her ability is future guidance. A magical girl who lives up by her daily divisions, which she tells every morning. If the fortune's good, she's very optimistic. If it's bad, she'll lock herself in her room and won't even go out to witch hunts. She loves fortune telling, but as her predictions always come true, she's forbidden to do it by other magical girls. The Doppel of Disclosure, its form is a fortune teller. The master of this emotion is both client and contractor. She believes her Doppel, which predicts one's destiny, is perfect clarity to be her true inner power, and she does not deny any of the desires it predicts. The Doppel is connected to its master's wrist and back, and constantly measures her pulse in order to synchronize with it. By fully synchronizing their movements and senses, the two of them can predict an utterly unshakable destiny. The result of the prediction is displayed in the Doppel's eye, and is determined by the type and direction of the tarot card shown within its pupil. Bearing a truly extraordinary effort, it's impossible for the master and Doppel to escape from a destiny they have predicted. The witch side of the Doppel says, "The witch of fortune tellers. Her nature is disclosure. A witch who single-mindedly attempts to uncover the truth within the various destinies that are consolidated in her barrier. Able to gaze across past, present, and future, she feels joy at the fact that all destinies are hers alone to know, and seriously turns over the tarot cards atop her table. If a visitor were to arrive, she would believe them to be someone who recognized her power, and would gladly unveil the truths enclosed within them. But the truths that come visible aren't always happy, and on top of that, accepting them as truth will prompt the witch to turn into her appearance, rendering escape impossible if you were to oppose her. It's said that she would show you every sufferable imaginable." Mel introduces herself as a fortune teller from the east region of Kamihama, boasting her readings are 100% accurate. She read her fortune today and decided to stay home since it warns of lethal danger. Her mom is used to it and is preparing to phone the school when Kanagi drops by. Kanagi laughs at Mel's inference on the outcomes of her readings, and says that bad stuff only comes because she believes her readings are true, and drags her off to school as usual. On the way, they sense the presence of a witch, and Kanagi dragged in the unwilling Mel into the barrier to deal with the witch. The witch and the familiars only target Mel during the fight, and in a panic, she lets it run away. She apologizes to Kanagi for wasting her mana and says that this is proof of the accuracy of her readings. But Kanagi brushes it off as superstition. Suddenly, a car rushes towards Mel in an attempt to run her down. She manages to dodge, but the girls realize that it is possessed by the witch, and it is targeting Mel only. The poor girl runs off, screaming that she hates Kanagi for this. In a panic, Mel had ran west and into the Mizuno region. Yachijo saves her, but Mel was frightful at first since she remembered Kanagi's warning her not to get close to the west and to minimize contact with magical girls belonging to the west since they look down on people from the east side of town due to class discrimination. Luckily, the soothing atmosphere and kind personality of Yachicho has calmed Mel down, and she thinks she is in luck that the magical girl is encountered is kind. However, Mel begins to panic when she realizes she is in long distance away from her home, in which she is safe, and worried that she really might die on the way back. Seeing her worry, Yachicho comforts the girl with soothing words and invites her to her place. Mel accepts the offer with some worry, but understands Yachicho's intentions once they reach her place, and Yachicho tells her to treat this as her home. Her readings advise her to stay home, so Yachicho offered her to let Mel stay for the day and especially gave her a life-saving shelter. Overwhelmed by the gratitude and at Yachicho's trust for her readings, Mel requests to join her team. While Yachicho is fine with this, she worries about the unnecessary misunderstandings since Mel is from the east. So she calls Kanagi and informs her of the situation. Kanagi gives her permission and thinks that joining Yachicho will be a good experience for Mel. From this day on, Mel became part of Yachicho's team. She quickly bonds with Yachicho, Mifryu, Truno, and Momoko. One day, Mel visited the Nanami household as usual, but more excited than normal. She explains that her readings for today were all positive and solved all the problems of her clients. She offered to help read the team's fortune. Yachicho is skeptical since they have no idea how Mel's readings work. So, Mel forcefully coaxes Yachicho into a fortune-telling session. The reading says there will be a breakthrough in her career, and the team takes the news with suspicion. That evening, Yachicho announces with disbelief that she was chosen by a nationwide famous magazine to pose for their special issue on the cafes of Kamenhama. Yachicho was chosen mainly because she is a local. Other than that, Truno, who decides to head to Yachicho's advice, Mifryu and Momoko ask Mel for a reading. Mifryu is worried about the upcoming matchmaking arranged by her family, while Momoko is worried about her results. Both receive possible readings from Mel. On the evening where Mifryu was attending the matchmaking, she announces joyfully that the person introduces a man who integrally is glad that she has attended that session. While she still is a high schooler and has to not in no intention of marriage, she is relieved that at least the partner is a good person. Momoko also passes her midterms with flying colors and is relieved since her grades were failing due to witch hunting. Seeing good results from the others, Juno finally breaks her resolve and asks Mel for a reading. Mel decides for the day since she has her own readings and says that any further readings will only cause negative results. But Juno insists that her luck will negate any negative results. Reluctantly, Mel reads Juno's fortune for tomorrow and the results are negative. She will be plunged with stomachache the next day, so she advises her to be careful with what she eats and drinks the next day. On the evening of the next day, Mel arrives at Yachicho's place as usual and seeing Truno lying flat from eating too much. Yachicho and Momoko inform her that Truno has not eaten or drank the whole day out of fear, and finally broke her resolve due to hunger, deciding to eat at Yachicho's place where at least she can be safe if anything happens. Mel warns her that it was hard to prevent the future that she had read, and Miffy wonders if the event would be related to the people around Truno. The team enters in an uncomfortable silence, and Truno realizes that it might be related to Bananzai, and having the stomach aches at a restaurant will usually mean food poisoning, and that will be disastrous. The team rushes to Bananzai immediately. For some reason, the shop is filled with customers, and Truno's dad is glad that she returned on time since he is so busy that he didn't even have the free time to call her. The team wondered if this is influenced by the readings, since a busy shop that has a lack of hands might lead to hygiene accidents. Truno shows some skills, like catching flies with chopsticks and carrying multiple plates of food, but she caught sight of Momoko slipping and pushes something into the bowl of ramen that Yachio has taken away to serve. She asked her dad about the object, and her dad answered that it was a laxative that was prescribed to him by the doctor. He wondered why it was there, since he remembered leaving it at home. Trina realizes why they would be in deep trouble if the customer eats the ramen, so she interrupted the serving and ate the ramen herself. The laxative comes into effect, and she's stuck on the toilet for the rest of the day. As the rest of the team are returning to Yachio's place, Yachio asks Mel why she became a magical girl, but tells her it is okay if she doesn't want to answer if she feels it is personal. Mel answers that she wasn't a big fan of fortune-telling actually, however she just happened to read one day and she would be in trouble, and the lucky item, an umbrella, would save her. As she foretold while she was returning an umbrella, she was nearly hit by a falling object, but she opened the umbrella which managed to save her. She was surprised by the effectiveness and wanted to learn the art to help others. Unfortunately, what she learned was not exactly accurate, and some of her schoolmates even made fun of her. One case had a group of them ignoring her advice and insisting on buying crepes after school, and they got harassed that day by a delinquent who was notorious citywide due to crepes. Mel wanted to help people, but realized she can only go so far from books, and Cupid took the opportunity to give her a contract. She wished for the ability to read fortunes at 100% accuracy, and realized she can do it using her own method when she laid her hand on her tarot cards. The next day, Mel sees a sign which forbade fortune-telling at Yachio's place. She is indignant at first, but mellows down in understanding after Yachio analyzes that her magic is not 100% accurate at predicting the future, but instead has the ability to twist the future into the result of her readings. Mel laments that she made the wish to help others avoid trouble, but never expected that it would cause trouble instead. Thus, she accepts Yachio's request not to read fortunes anymore since she cannot control the outcome. However, she made a reading in secret and saw a circle formed by magical girls. The keystone to the formation is entering Yachio's life in the form of a star, and she prayed that the star will light Yachio's path in the future, and that future will be warm and comfortable one. But back in the modern day, Yachio smiles at her family and their emotions being led around the results of fortune-telling on TV, and then luckily for the lucky item for Felicia, who has the worst fortune, and realizing that she already has it, a hammer. Yachio wonders with a smile if Mel will agree that this level of fortune-telling is enough to bring joy to the reader, and we end the story with a memory card featuring Mel and Connie, but just with Mel shown. Mel is able to use her unique style of fortune-telling to affect the future. However, she appears to have no control over whether she gets a good or a bad outcome. It's hard to find what Mel's name means in Japanese, but what it could mean is expresses the idea of making or causing someone to do something, which can make some sense to her character as being a fortune teller with 100% predictions, and considering that as an example from her side story, her last name, Anna, means safe or cheap, and name, respectfully. Fact 1. Her doppel name, Etteilla, was the pseudonym of Jean-Baptiste Alliot, a French occultist who was the first to popularize tarot division to a wide audience in 1785, and therefore the first professional tarot occultist known to history who made his living by card division. The doppel's name is an inverse of his name. Fact 2. Her soul gem appears to be missing in her 5 arts star. If this is a reference to her death or simply an error remains unknown. Fact 3. Etteilla's tarot cards are written in runes, and the art is slightly changed as well as compared to the tarot deck Mel uses. The design on the back of the cards is also upside down. Fact 4. She shares the same voice actress, Kagome Satori, another character in Magical Girl in Magia Record. Fact 5. Mel's voice actor is Keinan Takao, who you may know as Hermit Mao in Eden Zero, the Japanese voice of Milky Way Cookie in Cookie One Kingdom, and Noelle in Genshin Impact. She even has an English voice actor who voiced her in the Magia Record anime. She is Faye Mata, who you may know for voicing Lunaria in Gargantua on the Verdurous Planet, Tiara in Magi the Labyrinth of Magic, Aqua in Konosuba, the new English voice of Sailor Illuminant Siren in the Sailor Moon series, and Kakame Tsurugi, aka Yuko, in Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir, with a bunch more other roles. And that's Mel Anna. Next time I will talk about one magical girl in a history research club who can make anyone follow what she writes into a script, that being Tamiri Kira. So see you next time.